Welcome, everybody, to Survival Mode. It is time for us to do a deep dive into our step number one. Now, step number one, we talked about vision. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? That's what we're talking about. Okay. What is a vision? We talked about why have a vision. And we also talked about documenting your vision. All that is a whole bunch of work, guys. But you know what? It's necessary. It's necessary to do it. Now, Kevin, you talked about the fact that you don't like writing.
Well,
Okay.
I love writing. I hate writing documentation.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Why?
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
Well, documentation basically for me, it's documenting something I've already dreamed up, maybe already implemented. Like in my software job, I've already made the software do what it's got to do, but now I have to I have to basically backtrack and
Which
write down everything it does. And now the same thing applies to vision. So when I'm dreaming up this vision, I've already finished creating the vision. Now I got to backtrack and write it all down. That's what I don't like doing.
but what happens there is that it's all in your mind. Okay. And what if you forget something?
Exactly. And now I do want to point something out. I hate writing documentation, but I do it anyway because of all the reasons why you have documentation. So you can relate those ideas to other people, so that you can remind yourself. Uh, Everything you use documentation for. That's why documentation is written in the first place. And even if you hate doing it, this is your vision. You need to be the one that writes it down. I would even recommend don't type it, write it with your own hand. There is a psychological reason you can remember things better if you write it with your own hand because you're using muscles, you're using texture on the paper. It's something typing cannot give you. It's a psychological fact. You can go look it up, Google it, whatever you want to do, but you'll find it. It's the way it works.
Now, Mike, when Michael, when you're doing talking to clients about the vision, what's the first thing you say to them?
I asked the question why. I personally I think why always gets you to truth. Oftentimes people I was trying to not fabricate, but I was trying to put it in a nice
They
way.
lie.
But
What is you good? But they lie.
well, not necessarily lie. Oftentimes people don't know their truth because they have been through so much in life. They've so people have been fashioned to being things that they may not even want to be, but it's their norm, it's their culture, it's their environment. So for instance, a person, some women that may be argumentative, they may have the best heart in the world, but their environment makes them yell all the time, growing up. So that becomes a part of their nature or their culture when it's not necessarily who they really are. But because people see them as that, they now think, oh, I have to be like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not until a situation or a person comes in and say, hey, I love you just the way you are. You don't have to be like that. And they say, wow, really? I can be myself? Well, guess what? The same thing is with vision. So I think when it comes to asking people the why factor, you get to the point, and I believe all vision has one of the three principles. It's purposeful, it's for purpose, it's for passion, or it's for profits. Now you can have all three, but one of them is going to be the leader at some point in time. Now, if you're doing it for passion, that means something you enjoy doing, even if you don't get paid doing it. All right. So whatever that is, cool. Now that person is going to put a business model around it simply because they want to further doing that. They want to do that on a consistent basis where that thing that they're doing it now take care of them while they're doing it. Purpose is, what? I don't need nothing. Oftentimes you see nonprofits being structured around purpose. But the key thing about that is you have to have sustainability. So that's why every situation, even nonprofit organizations, have to have a business model because sustainability needs to be the foundation of everything before you can serve. And profits is when people say, I want to make money. Okay, you want to make money, but do you have the resource to produce this money? If and this is where I look at people that's going in real estate. A lot of people they talk about, I want to go into real estate, I want to flip houses. Okay, do you have $250,000 to start flipping? Do you have $500,000? And most of these people that want to go into real estate, which is a true resource driven business model or industry, they don't have it. And I'm like, well, why you want to go in something that's really dedicated or centered around resources? Now I'm questioning them. Okay, why are you saying real estate? And you begin to realize they believe that this is the best way they can make money. So oftentimes you're going to hear people say, "I want to do this," because they believe, according to what they know about themselves, this may be the best way I can do it. And let's be transparent. This is why we see a lot of people that are rappers or try to become rappers. It's because that is the best way that they believe they can establish a legitimate way to live and develop income. And most of them, you already know what it is. So that's, I think, when it comes to the why, that's the starting point to vision.
Okay. Now I'm gonna touch on something here. When everybody starts their vision and they're not truthful about themselves or anything like that, this is where the fear comes in because they don't want to tell everything. Right now, you just like you said, Michael, you got to be transparent. You got to know your faults, and that's going to be scary because I'm going to have to tell somebody that I don't know how to do this or I don't know how to do that. They're going to be scared. They're going to be scared to say it. Okay, say it to you. And this is what we do is we try to talk to you and get you to open up. Tell us how you really are. We're not here to judge. See, that's the thing. You're worried about what other people think. We're not here to judge. We're not. You're not going to court, okay? What you're doing right here is you're trying to gather what you need, and sometimes what you need is to grow, and nobody's thinking about that. You need to grow, and if that means you need to grow mentally, okay, then grow mentally. Don't be afraid to tell it all. Okay. Look, we're not going to tell anybody, if you're scared of spiders, fine, be scared of spiders. Don't go into spider business. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes fear is what they always say, false evidence appearing real. If you're honest and truthful about everything that you're trying to do, truthful about your vision, then it's going to come out that your vision is going to work. But if you misrepresent your vision, then your vision is going to misrepresent you. So you got to think about those things. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, Kevin, I know you got some thoughts here. Go ahead.
So when I'm helping a client with finance, they don't want to admit that they've been mishandling their money.
Oh, no.
You're in financial services too, Bert. You understand.
Oh my God. And they don't tell you everything.
Right. They don't want to tell you. And luckily, everything that anybody could have ever done financially and done wrong, I've already done it. And I assure them of that. Like with the exception of declaring bankruptcy, I've done pretty much everything. I bought stocks that went to, that where the companies went bankrupt. I've accumulated way too much debt. I defaulted on a credit card. Like, just go down the list. If you can do it wrong, I did it. This was before I knew anything about finance. And I already know you're coming to me because you don't know anything about finance and you want me to help you or to educate you or whatever the purpose is why you're here with me. So be completely transparent. and I will help you get over those humps because I had to overcome them myself.
But Kevin, it's still a fear. And
Oh,
no matter how
absolutely.
you slice.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is a fear, but honestly, when you're talking to somebody, so if people come to us and they say, "Hey, I listened to your show on vision, and I've listened to the deep dive, and I still don't know what to do," that's where we can get real personal, and now we can start drawing it out. I wanted to say one thing about how I help people with vision because this really helped me. I couldn't come up with a vision because I didn't really have a vision. I've been an employee, my entire life up until the last 10 years. So I didn't really have a vision. And someone asked me the question, what did you want to be when you were growing up? I wanted to be an astronaut. So what happened that you didn't go there? So we just start asking questions, take it all the way back to the beginning, because the mind of a child, I think Michael said this in one of the shows, a child's imagination runs wild. So you take them back to when their imagination was wild and let them start dreaming again. And then you help bring them along.
Michael, you had something to say. I'm going to add to that as well.
Yes, I came up with a phrase as we were talking about it. The vulnerabilities in vision.
Okay. All right.
When you're starting to do right, think about vision, you are going to become vulnerable. You
And
don't, and most people don't want to become vulnerable. That's the, think about it. That's the one of the biggest struggles with adults. They don't want to display vulnerability because they don't want to feel like somebody can take advantage of them or they don't want to be taken advantage of. That's
exactly.
really the most that's the big I think that's really the center point of the struggle. Like Kevin was mentioning about people making mistakes and they don't want to reveal it. But Kevin, listen, I've already made the mistake. You can't there's nothing you can tell me that's going to wow me. I've already done it. I've already done it. And I've got past it, so I can help you do the same thing. So it's helping people to reduce the fear in vulnerability, as you mentioned earlier, Bert. That helps people to really open up and really start to create and document that vision.
Now, and we're talking about an employer, excuse me, an employee turning entrepreneur. That is difficult because you have been, depending on your age, you have worked, for somebody, you for a guaranteed income. And now you're trying to turn to an entrepreneur where income is not guaranteed. The income is on you. Now you got to be you're now you're in control, and every decision that you make, okay, now I'm starting to get scared now. Okay,
I
wait a minute,
saw
I might not make any money. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And then that's when you don't want to take the risk. Then this is when you should take the risk, because if you go our steps, you will get over that fear quicker because you've done the work, done all the stuff that we're going to talk about later. You've done it, and the fruits of your labor will take away all that fear. That's what I'm trying to say. The fear, it will stop an entrepreneur before the entrepreneur writes the vision down.
That's why it's important and imperative that people, when I said earlier, it takes a village to raise a business. And it's really it's that is I believe that's true. I believe you need to be around people that can educate you, expose you, that can really help you gain experience. I call it the four E's of evolution for entrepreneurs. You got education, exposure, experience, and it's another E. I can't remember right now, but those E's really position an entrepreneur to evolve. And you can't do you. It's hard to do it by yourself because you don't even know where the faults are. So I think it's very important to utilize a platform like Survival Mode. Um, and this goes to show you that this is real because we're not reading stuff. We're giving people our real life. So I know
You
the E's, but I just told you. I don't know because I
you
didn't
you
want to say
you
that.
told us three of the E's, but there's a
Yeah,
fourth E there.
I'll
And
break
you know
it
what?
down.
You didn't write it down. You didn't write it down. You didn't write down your vision of your E's.
So listen, so let me tell him right now so they'll know. The E's to entrepreneur evolution, education, exposure, engagement, and experience.
Thank you. I wanted to make sure. All right, you got
Oh,
it.
it's in me. It's a part of me. And
Okay,
this is what
but
I
make
do.
sure you write it down, young man. Okay, because that
Yeah,
you know.
I was just getting so passionate because I know where people are in this place. And this has nothing to do with business. And that's what
Exactly.
people don't realize is entrepreneurship is a mindset. It has nothing to do with business. Business is an income producing structure. When you have that structure in place, it is going to produce what you structured to do. That's the easy part. This is the hard part. Documenting your vision, getting your vision to whereas you can vet the vision to make sure it's realistic for you to actually create and produce, and then you getting out your own way so that you can actually do it.
Kevin, he just mentioned about getting out of your own way.
Mhm.
How, when you started your business, did you now I know how technical you are. Okay, you're A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, Kevin, now I know I didn't get out of my own way. I was hard headed. Kevin, were you hard headed?
Yes, because I was introduced into a business where they were going to mentor me into an entrepreneur. And probably around the second week or so, it's like, there's a better way to do this. I have no knowledge of entrepreneurship, and already I'm thinking about, well, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it this way, but I don't even know what I'm doing. So how can I? And it, it, it's
Wow.
it's I run into people like this all the time. They always think it's better. It's like, no. Now that I've been in business for 10 years, it's like, wow, I was really stupid. So I wasn't stupid. Actually, stupid is not the right word. Ignorant
No,
of the knowledge.
better word, but you know what? I'm gonna say stupid anyway.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say stupid anyway.
Well, my actions were stupid because
Okay.
I delayed making money because I didn't want to do it the way I was being shown to do it.
You
I
know,
was leveraging somebody and not taking their advice.
here's something
Wow.
somebody told me. Here's something somebody told me. If the person that you if they're not making money, okay, if you are an entrepreneur and you're making $0 as an entrepreneur, but you meet an entrepreneur that's making six figures, okay, I would you need to listen to that person. If you met an entrepreneur that's making seven figures, you need to listen to that person. Okay, I'm just saying. It and you know what? Some people we listen to our friends, and the friends are probably making the same amount of money that you're making, and giving you the advice of what they think you should be doing. And they say, "Oh, no, you don't need to start your own business. You don't need to start your own business." You know what I tell people? Don't talk to anybody going during this process. Don't talk to anybody. This is your vision. This is what you want. Work it by yourself until you really need their help.
Well, I want to say, talk to people that have done it.
Exactly.
Yes, people talk. That think about what Kevin said. Kevin, you represent that 98% of people. This, how can a consumer think like a producer in the beginning? How can an employee think like an employer in the beginning? So when somebody questions somebody that's a leader or somebody that's already been through certain things and have vetted the experience, that's foolish. That is stupid. That is ignorant. All those things. And
Roll into
most,
one.
yeah, and most people do that. They're like, oh, I don't need to do all that. We all have heard that. I don't need to do all that. Like, bro, I already have a successful track record showing you that this is a good way and or a better way. Change the way after you've already done this way. Most people want to change the game without playing the game by the rules. You can't win any game falling out. So most people, they try to comment and try to think that they can do things a different way without vetting the way that's already been displayed and shown for them to actually do. That's
But
foolish. And
I know what
anytime
I'm
I see,
doing. I know what I'm
man,
doing. Leave me alone, man.
thank
I
you.
got this.
When I see entrepreneurs like that, then you're right. They're not the ones that's making the 6 or 7 figures.
Exactly.
They're not, because a true entrepreneur is a sponge. They listen to everything. They are like how Kevin talks about data. An entrepreneur loves data because I get to leverage this information to create and build and use it in this place.
But
You're like a computer. You're like you know what? You are a business scientist or architect when you are an entrepreneur. You are always putting together things and always trying to figure things out as you go along. And the best way to do is leverage from others. It's just, it really, you can see the passion. It really bothers me because I've seen it so much. And I'm like, is it working for you? And the answer is always well or no. So,
get out of your own way. You see
yes.
now, everybody. You see Kevin when you talk about data, his eyes just pops up. Okay, data marketing. He just goes, but wow.
Now that you watched the deep dive, you listened to the show, you watched the deep dive. If you have any additional questions at all, you can reach us at hello@survivalmode.live. Contact us, ask your questions, and we will answer them, each and every one that we get.
But look, we should close this out. We should close this out and say this: vision is an idea, concept, passion that you have to serve and support others. Actions taken in support of your vision may turn into a full-fledged business model. That's what it's about. Get rid of your fear, your anxiety by gathering information. We'll talk about that in the next deep dive.